good whatever it is for you, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Constantine once again, and we are going to be going into Game 5 between Hasu, Obs, and Haypro. This is going to be the 5th game in this wonderful installment. Currently, Hasu is up 3-1, so I'm not sure if this came from a best of 7 or a best of 5 or like a show match where they just played all the games. But, having a little talk there. The best out, please. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm retarded. Oh, that's mean. Just telling him he can watch the stream. What a bastard. Nah, actually, I'm sure both of these players are very friendly because in order to be a professional, you have to apparently be super friendly because that's what they all are. I'm the only player that's an asshole. Oh, man, they're not leaving the game. Oh, he is a streamer, so he won't leave. Oh, that's funny. So apparently Hasu, even though he's up 3-1, is just raging against all these observers. So we're going to be having on Metalopolis, great map, especially for Zerg in these positions, are going to be having Hasu spawning in as the red Protoss once again. So apparently purple was just his scrap station preference. And we have Liquid Haypro spawning in on the left side of the map as the blue Zergy. And so he was completely raging over the fact that a guy wouldn't leave and he wasn't even in the game. That's great. Classic. Ha. Anyway, we're going to be having Hasu moving in with a probe. We're going to be scouting in, seeing this is a normally timed spawning pool. Not going to be having any gas. Going to be doing the awesome stealing of the 5 minerals. Those minerals will never ever be recovered by the Zerg player. And in the end of the game, whenever he is running out of money on one base and he's 5 minerals short of making that last Ultralisk, he can point to that moment in the game where he let this probe steal that mineral piece, and he can say that is why I lost the game. Obviously that will not happen, but wouldn't it be great? So it looks as though the Zerg player has not actually scouted the position, so he could still be worried about a proximity spawning location. And that would be pretty bad for him if his opponent had decided to go for a 2-gate. He is going to be scouting. I guess he's going to go straight to the watchtower. I really wish I could see where this force was going. No, he's actually scouting directly to the cross positions without even looking for the... Apparently, I think it might have something to do with the timing of that worker. He knew he wasn't here. And he also knew that the worker would have come earlier if he had been in the proximity position. So based on that, he assumed he wasn't over there. Little things like that are pretty ridiculous when you think about how the pros play. Wow, so there's a little bit of lag there. Some players just, running on wooden computers. Oh, are they going to be able to get this? Oh, that's a little bit of bad control. That Zergling, oh, well, not that it mattered, but Zergling could have been controlled. Those 2 Zerglings that were just chilling right here could have been controlled to block off that probe from getting up the ramp. Of course, there was a queen there, so it didn't matter. But if there wasn't a queen there, that's a little bit of scouting information that the Protoss player doesn't, need to have, that you don't want him to have as a Zerg player. So looks like everything is going on pretty normally. Haypro is going to be taking his expansion. He's got his first Maynard of probes already over there. Hasn't really done anything. He's still mining gas, so it looks like he'll probably be throwing down... Oh, there was the speed going down a little bit late. And by still mining gas, that was actually the first 100 gas that he did mine, because Haypro does prefer this slow style. Does this actually have enough room for a hatchery now? I think it does. It's pretty awesome. And wow, that sentry just raped that drone. I didn't even see him shooting. He was just like... Sentry stop micro is what it was. Wow, so apparently they're having some serious lag issues, and that is never fun. I've played in, like the amateur games, the amateur tournaments that we play in, and we have observers that are lagging. Just makes you want to rage. So it looks as though this is the 3rd time he's done this build where he throws down a forge and a pylon at his ramp to just kind of extend the ramp a little bit further, and then throws down his natural. And this is all, actually it's on 2 gateways, and he's just making zealots and sentries right now. Zealots and sentries are so good against zerglings because the run by can't really be prevented, especially when you're in a strong position like here. The zerglings can't really harass these buildings because your forces are right here. And if they try and run up the ramp, you can just put a force field at the top of the ramp, and then you can put one at the bottom, or you can run your zealots in. I prefer putting one on the top and the bottom if you have this many sentries, because then you can just let your sentries work on the zerglings essentially for free without actually taking any damage on your zealots. That's just a judgment call. If you have like 20 zerglings and you've got like this many forces, I would try and do the wall in with it, especially if there's a cannon here. That way you can kill as many as you can before they get out. Unless there's only like 2 or 3 and your zealots aren't even going to take any damage past their shields, then you just throw down 1. But anyway, it looks like a lot of zerglings coming out for Haypro. On the units tab, we can see that, wow, is that right? Jeez. 39 or 41 drones to 32 probes this early in the game. Looks like there's a lot of force fields going down, just kind of preventing the zerglings from sneaking around. Full wall in here. This is great. You want to use your nexus in this wall, and your nexus is going to be the strongest building you have, especially early game. Although I don't know why I would even prefer another pylon going down here. Although eventually, if he wants to wall in with here and here, that would be nice. That cannon placement I think could be right here. That way it could help cover an attack on the front. When you put the cannon here, yeah, you're going to be safe against mutalisks running around the back here. But if you put it here, it can hit all the ground forces that would be over here. Then again, it is nice to have a double wall in back here, in case the Zerg player just came with a couple Zerglings and worked on this for a while, and then they could get in behind. But anyway, this is pretty effective. I like the placement of these 2 pylons as well. It's going to allow space in behind here, but at the same time, you can be able to throw down 1 more building here and have like a very tight wall in with just a single gap. So it looks as though he actually researched hallucination. He's going to be using that to scout with a phoenix. I don't know where that phoenix went. There he is right there. Got 1 zergling here to spot the 3rd base. And that's always something you want to plan ahead. Like, I mean, yeah, it's always good to spot for extra expansions, but whenever you're going a build that, say, takes a 3rd hidden base, because you probably are going to go mutalisks in mass, which he is doing, and you want to have 6 gases, then it's always good to check to see the kinds of builds that you're worried about. And I think he's worried about a fast expand with a lot of cannons, where he gets 3 bases as well. And as a Zerg player, you always want to have more bases than your opponent. And this is a lot of mutalisks, and they have not been scouted, so really not going to be any cannons down here. Would like to see a cannon thrown down here and 1 here. But yeah, definitely Haypro's doing a good job of hiding this, although I'm not sure what build. I haven't really been on that diligent in watching the builds this game. It's just a 3-gate or 4-gate, probably going to be blink stalkers, yep. So that's going to be relatively effective against these mutalisks numbers. So that is a lot of mutalisks. And once the excuse me, once the zerglings get in the mix here, you can send mutalisks in, even in like even numbers against stalkers, because the stalkers with the mutalisks, and zerglings attacking them don't actually match an army like that. Mutalisks and zerglings are great at shutting down blink micro as well because they're so fast. And this isn't, going to be some kind of all-in attack from Hasu like we saw last game. This is just going to be blink stalkers trying to harass and edge out any kind of advantage they can. And now that this expansion has been spotted, I don't really like the placement of it. I would much rather have an expansion taken here. Blink stalkers are really going to be able to abuse this. Although, I mean, every single unit for the Zerg player is near the maximum speed. And this is getting dangerously large in mutalisk numbers. And the cannons going down. I don't know why I said cannons. Yeah, the cannons going down. A lot of sentries are good against mutalisks, but the numbers are kind of strange. Like if you get, like 5 sentries versus 5 mutalisks, the 5 sentries will just absolutely destroy them. But like 20 mutalisks versus 20 sentries is different. Oh, and wow, we have a Templar Archives down somewhere that I didn't see. He's getting Kydarian Amulet. I don't know if he has Storm done. Yeah, he does have Storm already. Wow, I didn't see that at all. And it looks as though he's going to be pumping out a few Archons. Archons are super awesome against Mutalisks, although they're really slow compared to Mutalisks, so it's kind of hard to get them there. But if you throw a couple Archons in the mineral lines, you can actually have a really strong defense against Mutalisks. Because, you know, Archons are a positional unit because they're so slow, so you can't really like attack Mutalisks with an Archon, but you can defend points with Archons because they do splash damage and they do like an extra 11 damage to biological units. They essentially 3-shot Mutalisks. At least once they get +2, they will 3-shot Mutalisks, and that is very important for dealing with these massive balls. Not to mention that I don't even think that these mass Mutalisks can one-shot an Archon. So as we can see, there's a lot of damage going on there. They aren't bunched up all that much because Haypro is aware of the danger of, wow, this is so many Mutalisks. He really needs to be pushing this advantage, although this is too many Stalkers to deal with right now. Thing is like we saw in the third game, this mass Mutalisk play only is so good for so long, and you really need to follow it up with something that has a more substantial army feel to it. And the problem is that there really isn't any air unit for Zerg that has that feel. Broodlords do, but unless the Broodlords are supported by a large ground army, then they